Monday night sports fix and filling in for Clayton, but I don't need a fill-in when it comes to EPL because I've got the best at it here at the Flow News 24 desk. It's Ellis Gelios, and g'day Ellis, how are you?
Flo, man, I'm great. Plenty of action overnight in overseas football, and usually I am covering it with Clayton, as you said off the top there, but you and I are no strangers to one another.
We aren't, and I'll tell you what, Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur are no strangers to each other. The Northern Derby promised everything and delivered, well, next to nothing.
Correct. This really could have been quite the derby. Obviously, the North London derby, always a real headline grabber in England, and I would have expected a bit more of a spectacle in this one. But look, Tottenham did pull away early on, an absolute dynamite of a Rabona goal to get them 1-0 up out of a move that really came from nothing. But Arsenal taking the lead in quite controversial circumstances, VAR playing its part in this game as it has been over the whole season in England, influencing matches. And some Arsenal players did come out and cheekily refer to that in some tongue-in-cheek fashion at the end of the game, just to heap the misery on Tottenham's Jose Mourinho. But another missed opportunity for Tottenham, especially after going 1-0 up in what is the biggest game for that club in the calendar. So they'll be disappointed, the Hotspurs fans, no doubt about it.
I'm loving it. These two go back a long way. I can remember some real 80s rivalry between these two giants of English football. But maybe two sides that aren't giants of football. And in the relegation zone, the Southern Derby, this was Southampton playing Brighton. And again, didn't rise to any great occasion when you're looking at trying to salvage something out of a pretty dismal season.
The South Coast Derby, it's always a big one on the calendar when you look at the derbies that don't really feature that sort of classic top six. So always gets a few eyeballs this game. And what's significant really about it is the fact that Southampton in particular, not really a club that should be flirting with relegation at all, considering their resources. They've produced a lot of good players out of their academy over the last decade. And they've been a real staple of the Premier League since they were promoted some years ago now from the Championship. So you really never expect to see Southampton down there, but they are this season with their South Coast neighbours, Brighton, who always are flirting with the relegation zone. And so a huge win for them to beat Southampton in this game. Adam Lallana, very influential, the former Liverpool midfielder for Brighton in this game. But Southampton will be looking nervously over their shoulder now because they are contending with relegation along with Brighton. They're only 4 points or so ahead of Fulham. So, sorry, mind you, that's about 6 or 7 points, but still about 10 games to play. So Southampton, they would have been looking to really dismiss any threat of relegation by winning this game, and they were unable to do so.
Unable to do so. And if you remember the start of the year, the Saints were absolutely flying at that point in time and really have gone downhill since about the fifth round of games. What about this for Man United? They've beaten West Ham, and it was an opportunity for Everton to stand up on their home deck, but they didn't, and it is a lost opportunity.
Absolutely. David Moyes, the former Manchester United manager, has come out and he's been sniping from the sidelines this season. As we know, David Moyes was awarded with a really rare, lucrative long-term contract back when he was appointed as Manchester United's successor to the great Sir Alex Ferguson in 2013. They gave him a 6-year contract, which is quite unprecedented, and sacked him, obviously, less than a year into that. They only finished paying that contract off recently, mind you, Flowman. So David Moyes has come out this season during parts just to sort of put a bit of pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been at the club for a while now. Sort of hasn't really, despite being second in the title race at the moment, hasn't really taken them to any great heights, and is spent a whole lot more money than what David Moyes was afforded when he was in that job. So always significant to hear from the former Man United manager, David Moyes, but unfortunately he lost this game. What it did mean was that a club not so far away from Manchester in Everton, a little west of Manchester in the northern English region, they had a fantastic opportunity at home to Burnley, the lowly Burnley, who can come up and surprise us here and there, but they're sitting in 15th at the moment. Not really a season to write home about, but they beat Everton at Goodison Park, which is a devastating result for Everton because it meant that had Everton won the game, they would have jumped West Ham into 5th spot. And obviously they would have been contending for a Europa League place in that position. So they're still only 2 points below West Ham at the moment, but West Ham have been flying all season long and they're very reliable at home. They've managed to turn the controversial Olympic Stadium into somewhat of a fortress finally some 5 years after moving in. So you wouldn't expect West Ham to drop too many more games between now and the end of the season. So Carlo Ancelotti and Everton will be ruining a missed opportunity.
Yes, you cover it so well, Ellis. And another part of the coverage is the women's side of it. And we've already seen and mentioned today about the illustrious talent that Sam Kerr is, the Matildas captain, absolutely killing them over there in Chelsea. And she's got it done again. Another 3 goals off of her boot to add a 6 in a massive win by Chelsea over Bristol City.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic to finally, firstly, have access to the coverage of this competition through Optus Sport, who purchased the rights to the English Women's Super League competition. So it's been great to see the number of Australians that we've got playing in that league at the moment. Matilda stars, Caitlin Ford, obviously at Arsenal as well. But just on Sam Kerr at Chelsea, I think about 2 years ago I was calling her Australia's most significant athlete at that time. I think given that the Matildas probably failed to fire in the most recent World Cup, considering that so many people expected so much from them off the back of all the momentum that they'd been generating around that timeline. I think she kind of went a little bit missing, came back into the A-League, but did really well once she did, and now she's back at the absolute height of European competition, scoring goals for Chelsea left, right and centre, and she did so again against Bristol City, a hat-trick. Sam Kerr really is a huge asset for Australian football as a whole. And considering that she's still at a great age, I think we are going to get more and more out of her. Sam just needs to do it on the home front now, Flowman. She's proven herself as a world star. She's one of the highest rated players on the illustrious computer game FIFA on the women's side of things. So she's very much of that mould when it comes to international superstardom, but she just needs to now, translate that form in the green and gold, which is what we're all waiting to see. But nevertheless, kicking goals in Europe, no question about it, Sam Kerr at the top of her game.
Certainly, and Ellis Gelios is at the top of his game in calling EPL here on the Sports Fix. Great to have you on board tonight and look forward to catching up with you Friday night on the Sports Show.
Great to catch up again, Flowman. We'll speak soon.